captured prisoners of war. Negotiations being arrested. In Australia, Mr. Kerry Packer's cricketers are still pleading yesterday's High Court decision, which did ban on them playing in Test matches.
This is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you.
The evening of November 26, 1977, began like any other across southern England. Families settled into their armchairs, teacups in hand, ready for the nightly news on ITV. Television sets hummed to life, their cathode ray tubes casting a familiar glow across living rooms. But at precisely 5:10 p.m, something went terribly wrong. The screen flickered violently, as if gripped by an unseen force. The ITV ident dissolved into rolling static. Engineers at the Southern Television transmitter in Hannington scrambled to identify the fault, but their equipment showed no signs of failure. Then, without warning, the static coalesced into something far more unsettling. A deep, resonant voice boomed from thousands of speakers simultaneously. It spoke in slow, measured tones, its pitch unnaturally distorted, as if filtered through some impossible machine. This is the voice of Vrillon, a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the skies. Across Hampshire, Sussex, and parts of London, viewers sat frozen. Some laughed nervously, assuming an elaborate prank. Others reached to adjust their sets, convinced of a technical fault. But as the message continued, a creeping realization took hold. This was no accident. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world, so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world. The voice spoke for exactly 6 minutes. It warned of humanity's path towards self-destruction, urged the abandonment of nuclear weapons, and insisted on spiritual awakening. Then, as abruptly as it began, the transmission ceased. Normal programming resumed, leaving no trace, save for the shaken witnesses. By 5:30 p.m, the Southern Television switchboard was inundated with calls. Had the station been hacked? Was this some bizarre public service announcement? The engineers had no answers. Their equipment logs showed no intrusion. The broadcast signal had simply been overwritten. That night, a BBC spokesperson dismissed the incident as a most sophisticated hoax. But behind closed doors, authorities were deeply troubled. Hijacking a television signal in 1977 wasn't just illegal. It was considered technically impossible without military-grade hardware. And then there was the content itself. The name Ashtar Galactic Command matched obscure references in UFO literature, but no known group had the capability or audacity for such a stunt. By morning, the story dominated British newspapers. Alien warning on TV, blared the Daily Mirror. The Home Office launched an immediate investigation, treating the breach as a potential national security threat. But within days, they hit a wall. No equipment was ever recovered. No group claimed responsibility. The incident faded from headlines, but the questions lingered. Who or what had spoken through Britain's televisions that night? And why deliver a warning that echoed humanity's deepest Cold War fears? The technical specifics of the Vrillon Broadcast only deepened the mystery. Television signals in 1977 weren't like modern digital streams. They were robust analog transmissions, fiercely protected by the government. To override one required either direct access to the broadcast tower or a transmitter of staggering power. The Hannington transmitter served over 500,000 homes across southern England. Its signal was tightly controlled, with multiple fail-safes against interference. Yet somehow, at 5:10 p.m., an unknown force bypassed them all. Experts later determined the hijacker needed three impossible things: precise knowledge of ITV's transmission frequency, a transmitter with at least 10 kilowatts of power, equivalent to a small radio station, a location within 25 miles of Hannington to avoid signal degradation. Even more perplexing, the hijack occurred during the vertical blanking interval, a split-second pause between television frames. This wasn't brute force signal jamming, it was surgical precision. The BBC's own investigation uncovered an eerie detail. Backup transmitters at Whitehawk Hill and Midhurst had mysteriously failed simultaneously. Coincidence, or part of the plan? Police combed the countryside for rogue transmitters but found nothing. The sheer power required would have left traces: generator fuel, antenna fragments, tire tracks. Yet the equipment vanished without a trace. Then came the witnesses. Several radio enthusiasts reported strange interference that afternoon. One ham operator near Basingstoke recorded a burst of unmodulated carrier wave at 5:08 p.m., 2 minutes before the hijack. Another in Southampton claimed to hear a voice repeating Ashtar through static. But the most chilling account came from an anonymous ITV technician. In a 1992 interview, he revealed that internal logs showed a 0.8-second handshake between the hijacker and transmitter, a digital signature impossible with 1977 technology. When pressed, he clammed up. The logs were later destroyed in a routine purge. The Vrillon incident spawned endless theories. UFO enthusiasts pointed to the Ashtar Command's prominence in Conch-T law, a supposed interstellar council monitoring Earth. Skeptics argued it was an elaborate hoax by rogue broadcast engineers. But the most compelling explanations lie in the geopolitical climate of 1977. Britain was embroiled in Cold War tensions, with rampant fear of nuclear annihilation. The message's content mirrored period anxieties almost too perfectly. Declassified documents reveal British intelligence had experimented with TV signal hijacking for psychological operations. A 1975 MIM, 5 memo references, Project Blue Book, testing mass perception modification via broadcast intrusion. Was Vrillon a leaked experiment? Others suspect activist involvement. The 1970s saw pirate radio stations like Radio Caroline challenge government airwave monopolies. Could anarchist engineers have staged the ultimate protest? Then there's the voice itself. Forensic audio analysis in 2012 revealed something unsettling. The speech pattern didn't match human cadence. Syllables were spaced at mathematically perfect intervals, with a subharmonic resonance impossible for 1977 vocoders. In 2008, a retired BBC engineer came forward with a deathbed confession. He claimed a team from Porton Down, the UK's secretive military research facility, had staged the broadcast to test public reaction to non-terrestrial threats. He died 3 days later in a hit-and-run accident. The truth remains buried. No government has ever acknowledged involvement. The few journalists who pursued the story met dead ends or sudden career changes. Yet the warning lingers. In an age of AI, climate collapse, and renewed nuclear brinkmanship, Vrillon's message feels eerily prescient. Perhaps that's why decades later, the broadcast continues to haunt us. Because the real question isn't who spoke through our televisions in 1977. It's whether we were ever meant to find out.